September is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, and millions of kids around the nation suffer each year from various kinds of cancer. Every day there are advances and new treatments to save these young lives. Dr. Mathew Ramirez is joining us today with some of those advancements and what's next. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's start with some good news. All right, so cure rates for all types of cancer can reach up to 90% these days.
Sure. Some of our most common types of cancers in children, we are getting higher survival rates. However, there's still several diseases that still have very poor survival, and at least one or two brain tumors that we have nothing that we can do.
All right. How have doctors changed the way that they treat certain cancers over the years?
Sure. So, unfortunately, it's not been due to new medications. So since about 1980, we've only had 3 new drugs that have come onto the market for children with cancer. So it's been more of a better using the tools that we have. So they're older medications, they have more side effects, but we're learning how to adjust them, and so we try to get the most bang for our buck, if you will.
So what do we need to do to kind of change that process a little bit?
Well, so funding. Research is how we're making children survive their cancer experiences, and research is and funding is what we need. And so unfortunately, right now only 4% of the National Cancer Institute budget goes to childhood cancer, with the rest going to adult cancers. And so that's only about $198 million, which if you put in perspective of the funding that goes to hurricane relief, you know,
right,
it's kind of a drop in the bucket.
Right.
And so we've had to rely on private funding, one of the organizations, St. Baldrick's Foundation, to help make up that shortfall.
And you've got a fundraiser coming up. You want to tell us about that?
Absolutely. So we're raising money for St. Baldrick's Foundation at Palm Beach Children's Hospital. We will be having, it's St. Baldrick's, sounds like St. Patrick's,
Sure.
So it's on the actual shave event, which is where people will sign up to have their head shaved, like me, for a good cause, and help raise money for St. Baldrick's organization.
And when is that?
This will be St. Patrick's Day, which is March 17th.
Oh, okay. All right.
It'll be at the St. Mary's campus right next to Palm Beach Children's Hospital.
All right.
And we'd like to have people go to the website, stbaldricks.org, and join our team, either as a shavee or donate money to some of the shavees.
Either way.
I'm going to be shaving. Right. I'm growing it out, and then I'm going to shave it again. And maybe I'll shave this too. We'll see.
Why not?
You can see my picture from when I had hair.
When treating a child, doctors have to think about the consequences, though, for decades to come. Does that make it more difficult to decide on a treatment?
So it does, and so like I said, the thought is with better research we'll be better able to limit the late effects that kids will have. But we have about, like you said, an 80%, 90% cure rate in some of these diseases, and so unfortunately these kids will be growing up with risks of late effects from these cancer therapies.
All right. So hopefully a step in the right direction, and don't forget St. Baldrick's, that'll be on March 17th, so you have plenty of time to think
decide about your hair.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely,
right.
absolutely.
Shave it all off. All right. Thank you so much for being here and telling us about it.